I study rap battles for a living.
Drake just went through one of the most brutal rap battles of his entire career, and instead of coming out victorious, he's been moving in ways that have left fans asking one simple question: is he protecting his legacy or destroying it? From lawsuits to gambling streams, from flaunting Tupac's jewelry to taking cheap shots at respected journalists, it feels like every move he makes is designed to spark outrage. But here's the twist: while Drake keeps trying to dominate headlines, Kendrick Lamar quietly keeps dominating the culture, and the difference between the two couldn't be more obvious. The rap battle between Drake and Kendrick wasn't just a clash of two superstar egos, it was a turning point in modern hip-hop. Kendrick came out swinging with raw, calculated verses that dismantled Drake's image line by line. And Drake? He fought back with everything he had, but the longer it dragged on, the more defensive he looked. Instead of walking away as the proud villain he wanted to be, Drake ended up filing lawsuits, trying to censor responses, and even leaning on legal battles to protect his name. That's not the reaction fans expect from a rapper who once bragged about being untouchable. Meanwhile, Kendrick's momentum only grew stronger. Stadium tours, record-breaking sales, and performances that reminded everyone why he's considered one of the greatest of this generation. While one side looked desperate, the other looked untouchable. But Drake wasn't finished yet. He had one more play, one that dragged Tupac's legacy into the middle of the storm. If you thought the battle ended with just music, think again. Drake shocked everyone when he announced he had purchased Tupac's iconic Death Row chain, the same one immortalized on the All Eyes on Me album cover. For some fans, this looked like a flex, but for many others, it felt like disrespect. Remember, this wasn't Drake's first Pac-related stunt. Earlier, he flaunted a ring once owned by Tupac, sparking outrage when Kendrick fired back on stage, saying Drake didn't deserve to hold on to such historic artifacts. And then came the most disturbing part. Drake was accused of using AI to release diss tracks from Tupac's perspective, rapping against Kendrick as though Pac himself was resurrected to take his side. The Tupac estate had to step in and shut it down. That alone told the world how far Drake was willing to go to win the culture war. And now, by flashing the Death Row chain right when Kendrick hit the stage with the clips in LA, Drake made it crystal clear. He wasn't buying these pieces to honor Tupac's legacy. He was buying them to hijack the spotlight. But if that was his plan, it backfired. Because Kendrick didn't just ignore the stunt, he doubled down on reminding fans who really carried the torch. But Drake's list of enemies didn't stop with Kendrick. He turned his fire on hip-hop media itself, specifically Rob Markman, one of the most respected journalists in the game. Now here's the backstory. During the battle, Ovo's team allegedly reached out to Markman, asking him to show the boys some love. They didn't offer money, but they dangled access, whitelisting Drake's songs so Rob could react without copyright strikes. But Rob declined. He chose integrity over influence. Fast forward to now, and Drake is clowning him on Instagram, mocking him for not remembering a Lil Wayne bar in an old interview. But the irony is painful. Drake himself has been sitting down with people like Bobby Althoff, Aiden Ross, and XQC, streamers who don't even know his music. While respected hip-hop voices get mocked, Drake is chasing clout in rooms full of people who barely know his legacy. That's not just a bad look, it's a contradiction, and fans noticed. Think about this. Drake has one of the most powerful platforms in music, but instead of using it to stand with his peers, to work with respected rappers, or even to reconnect with hip-hop culture, he's surrounding himself with outsiders. Bobby Althoff, a podcaster with zero connection to hip-hop culture. Aiden Ross, famous more for trolling than for music discussions. XQC, a streamer who couldn't even name Drake's own songs. These are the voices Drake is choosing to align himself with. Even DJ Academics, who's defended Drake countless times, had to admit it looked like bad timing, because while Drake was out here trying to pivot into streaming and viral podcasts, Kendrick was standing side by side with The Clips, Schoolboy Q, and other rap heavyweights, artists with credibility, history, and real ties to the culture. The contrast couldn't be clearer. One rapper is trying to chase a new audience by leaving hip-hop behind. The other is carrying hip-hop into a new era. If you thought Drake's pivot to streaming was just about reaching a younger audience, you'd be wrong. There was a much darker motive hiding underneath. Drake became the face of Stake, a controversial gambling company that paid streamers to show off flashy bets, millions of dollars placed in seconds, big reactions, big wins, and an entire generation of kids glued to their screens. But here's the truth about gambling. It's addictive, and when celebrities flaunt it like it's a game, fans, especially young ones, pick up the habit. There are already stories of people who spiraled into addiction after following these streams. And when things went sour with Stake, Drake Drake didn't quit. He just pivoted again, deleting accounts and distancing himself, but the damage was already done. To many fans, this wasn't about culture or music. It was about money, and the moves looked more desperate than calculated. While Drake was drowning in drama, Kendrick was busy building history. His GNX tour shattered expectations, nearly outselling Drake's entire massive tour, despite Kendrick having fewer dates. His live performances, especially the legendary Pop-Out show, proved why he's considered one of the best performers alive. No backing tracks, no gimmicks, just raw skill. And the numbers back it up. GNX became the highest-selling hip-hop album of the year, months after its release. Old albums like Good Kid, MAAD City, and DAMN still chart years later, showing unmatched longevity. Fans don't just listen to Kendrick, they live with his music. Rumors swirl about a deluxe version, a second album, or even a black hippie reunion. But even if Kendrick disappears for another 2 years, he's already cemented this run as legendary. Where Drake is making headlines for antics, Kendrick is making history for music. So what does this all mean for Drake's legacy? On one hand, he's a certified pop legend. Chart records, sold-out arenas, and hit singles that defined an entire era. But within hip-hop, the respect is fading. Every move seems less about culture and more about clout. Kendrick, on the other hand, isn't chasing headlines. He's shaping them. Every appearance, every bar, every performance feels intentional. And fans recognize that difference. The truth is simple. Drake may have the trophies, but Kendrick has the culture. And in the long run, culture always wins. So here's the question I'll leave with you. When the history books are written, who will they say really won? The artist who dominated charts, or the one who carried the culture? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Drake is still in control of his legacy, or is Kendrick slowly rewriting it right in front of us?